Most leadership programs force you into a box. You are told to pick a distinct style. Are you the visionary looking 5 years ahead, or the operator who executes, the empathizer, or the decision maker? Specializing like this creates dangerous blind spots. When the market shifts, an organization needs a different set of tools. A leader trapped in a single identity often fails to adapt or burns out trying to force their one style to solve every problem. 5,000 years ago, the Indian epics offered an alternative to this rigid approach, the profile of a figure who mastered complete, multidimensional integration. This is Krishna, a leader who was a cowherd, a king, and a philosopher. He held all these identities simultaneously, without contradiction, providing a blueprint for the complete leader. Krishna represents a standard where adaptability, not specialization, is the primary requirement for surviving at the top. It is the ability to show up as the strategist in one room and the empathizer in the next without losing your core. On the morning of the war at Kurukshetra, the lead warrior Arjuna suffers a total strategic and emotional collapse. He drops his bow, unable to face the prospect of fighting his own kin. Krishna approaches this collapse with a diagnostic empathy. He asks questions to map exactly where Arjuna's mind is blocked, addressing the specific fear and confusion, rather than offering a superficial pep talk. The solution Krishna delivers is a concept called Nishkama Karma, action without attachment to results. He tells Arjuna to do the work required of him with complete effort, but to release the final outcome. When a leader is attached to a specific result, their ego begins to corrupt their decision-making. Detaching from the outcome ensures that choices are driven by what the situation requires, rather than what the leader needs to prove. We see this physically in Krishna's most counterintuitive choice. He had the most powerful army in the world, yet he offered it to the opposition, choosing instead to serve as a charioteer who would not lift a weapon. This is the choice of an orchestrator. Krishna understood that stepping out of the spotlight was the only way to empower the warrior to do his job. The most effective leaders do not perform the work themselves. They create the optimal conditions, the stable platform, for others to be the performers. In 2014, Microsoft was a modern version of a stalled battlefield. It was trapped in a toxic, know-it-all culture where teams competed internally and engineering talent was suffocated by a need to look perfect. When Satya Nadella took over, he ignored the standard playbook of immediate product launches or massive layoffs. He focused instead on cultural realignment. Nadella used empathy to accurately diagnose the cultural rot at Microsoft. He realized that the company's internal friction was rooted in an ego-driven need for individual validation over collective success. He implemented a version of Nishkama Karma through the learn-it-all growth mindset. This diagram shows the shift. Detaching from the ego of already knowing frees employees to focus on the effort itself. This detachment unlocked massive collaboration. Teams shared resources rather than hoarding them, driving a period of exponential financial growth. Nadella's charioteer move was the OpenAI partnership. He didn't demand the glory of building AI entirely in-house. He orchestrated a deal empowering a partner to innovate, while Microsoft provided the necessary infrastructure. Microsoft's historic $2 trillion resurgence suggests that these ancient orchestrator principles provide a working model for navigating the complexity of modern technology sectors. Krishna and Nadella share a common realization. Success depends on maintaining a consistent core identity across wildly different rooms and crises. They are the same person in the strategy session as they are in the one-on-one. To sustain this level of integration, we have to look back at Krishna's origins in Vrindavan and the final requirement of the complete leader. This is the concept of Leela, or divine play. It is the ability to engage fully with weight and consequence while retaining a fundamental inner lightness. It is represented by the metaphor of the flute, a dedicated practice or mental sanctuary that connects a leader to joy, independent of their corporate output. Without this internal lightness, the compounding stress of executive responsibility will eventually hollow out the person in the seat. You cannot lead effectively if you are crushed by the role. Audit your own toolkit. Which element is currently missing? Is it the diagnostic empathy, the invisible orchestration of the charioteer, the detachment of Nishkama Karma, or the joy of the flute. Having examined these 8 avatars, we see a pattern. True leadership is the integration of profound action, orchestration, and joy, held together without the frailty of ego. That is the architecture of the complete leader.